All right, so welcome back. So we've gone ahead and gone over how to do better rectangles, triangles, and circles very, very quickly. We didn't want to belabor it or anything like that. Hopefully you've gone ahead and gotten out a sheet of paper and tried to do a few circles, tried to do a few, a few triangles, tried to do a few rectangles. We're now going to talk about doing a sketch sheet. And I'm going to show you how to do a very quick bunch of sketches on a practice piece of paper. It's something you're going to want to do for 10 or 15 minutes at least 3 times a week. If you do that for 3 times a week, I'll guarantee you within like 3 to 6 months you will be amazed at how much better your rectangles will be, your triangles, your circles, your lines. It'll all be better, and the better you can do those, the better your more intermediate and advanced drawings will be. All right, so we're going to learn about that little exercise. Again, I want you to do that exercise at least 3 times a week, and the exercise should take about 10 to 15 minutes. So again, 3 times a week, 10 or 15 minutes each time. So either 30 to 45 minutes a week at least. And if you're doing that along with your other drawing, it will affect your drawing in ways that you won't even believe. It's that powerful. So try this stuff, practice it. It will really help your drawing. All right, go ahead and check out the video on the exercises. Do a page of the exercises, fill it with lines, turn it over, fill that with rectangles, triangles, and circles, and then go on. Go to the next video. But we're going to check out this we could just a sketch page that we do, a warm-up as we like to call it, and go ahead and give it a shot. All right, wish you the best. For those taking the class, we're going to talk about warm-ups that I want you to do before you start drawing. So anytime you decide to, hey, I'm going to sit down and do some drawing, I want you to warm up doing these little exercises I'm going to show you, and I want you to do them for at least 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. And I'll tell you what, if you actually do these exercises, and if you're doing them 3 or 5 times a week for even 10 minutes, and you keep doing that, and usually you'll use for the warm-ups, we'll just have you use just some newsprint. This is Strathmore. The newsprint you want could be smooth or rough, but I prefer the rough surface to the smooth. And the reason you use newsprint is just because it's cheap. It's very inexpensive, and you can burn through a whole bunch of it, and then after you're done with it, I guess recycle it or whatever. But anyways, it's very inexpensive. It's good to use. But if you'll do that, 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week to 5 times a week is even better if you're doing it every day. That's the optimum. But if you do that, and again, you're burning through, you'll burn through one of these guys rather quickly, 50 days sort of thing. Or I guess it's got 2 sides, so it's 50 sheets, 100 days. But if you do that, your draftsmanship and your ability to control your lines will really improve dramatically in the first 3 to 6 months. And again, drawing is a process, so it's like learning the piano. If you're gonna play some Mozart or something like that, you're gonna be playing the piano for a while, and you're gonna love it and enjoy it, and that's why you would take classes. But you understand it's a process, and it's the same thing with drawing. Again, it's like stretching before you run, or it's like stretching before you do calisthenics or exercises, or whatever your thing is that you're doing. You stretch those muscles. If you're gonna pitch baseball, pitch in a baseball game, you're gonna warm your arm up before you start really throwing some pretty heavy pitches. Really bringing the power, because you need those muscles to warm up. So this is the same thing. It gives us muscle memory. It warms up your muscles, and it also warms up your brain to process things a lot better. And so even though I've been a professional for years, I can tell the difference if I skip my warm-ups and go right to work. Other than, instead of taking, 10 minutes, or for me, it's actually usually about a half hour for my warm-ups. But still, if I don't do the warm-ups, it shows, I can feel it in my work. I struggle more with the work than I would, much more so than if I would just do the exercises and get them out of the way and then start working. So the first ones we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have you, just some straight lines. So we're going to have you practice doing straight lines, looking to where you're drawing, watching your speed, pulling towards your dominant side. So if I was a right-hander, I'd be over here, pulling to the right. You know, watching where I'm going. Obviously, I'm not right-handed. These lines are all over the place. But you're going to go ahead and, again, pull towards your dominant side. Look to where you're going. Do some horizontal lines. Do some vertical lines, like so. And again, they could be longer lines. You know, longer lines are harder to do than shorter ones. Once you sort of start to fill the page up, let's say I fill this whole area up with these lines, that's good. You want to do, you know, a couple, 100 to a couple hundred lines as a warm-up. Again, you can do diagonals going this way, and then diagonals going the opposite direction. This is, again, just to get us warmed up with the straight lines. Once you've done that, well, then we can go ahead and we're going to transition into circles. So you're going to use your whole arm and do concentric circles to get, again, that muscle memory for circles. Because if we're doing curves, nothing more curved than a circle. And so, again, it will help us do curves much better. This is a great warm-up for you know, before you even do gestures. Do about 5 minutes of these really, really loose for gesture drawing. We're not going to really cover gesture drawing in this particular class, but it just means where you're, you know, doing very fast drawing, very, very loose, looking for the motion, looking for the curves. And it's really, gesture drawing many times is just a warm-up before you do your drawing. Again, it's just like this. It's warming your brain up. But it's warming your brain up for a particular object. If I'm drawing somebody's portrait, I might do, you know, some very quick studies and gestures, you know, where I'm doing it, you know, for, you know, 3-minute drawings to 5-minute drawings to 10-minute drawings. These are ellipses, so we're going to do some concentric ellipses to warm up. We can lean the ellipses to the right. You can lean them to the left. Make them horizontal, you know, whatever. Make them, you know, stand straight up. I'm going to be using, a lot of times with this, you can use the baton hand hold, where we hold it between our fingers. Like so, that's that baton hand hold. Or I could use my the tripod grip, but instead of holding it out here, I'd usually bring it in and kick my wrist up. And it allows you to have a very, you know, to kind of draw like this. Now, can't hardly see because my hand's in the way, but it allows you to hover right over it. And when you draw flat, which I should never draw flat, but if I had no choice, that's how you do it. And they would use it for Chinese and Japanese, or, you know, calligraphies, because if you're doing calligraphy, you want I guess you'd say, well, they do it for calligraphy in English too, but there, you know, you would hold your hand, you know, so you could take the brush and really move it, and it's a really wonderful way. So we've got our circles, we've got our ellipses. We're then going to also do some concentric rectangles. Okay, this is just our warm-up. Okay, so this is squeaking a little bit. That's the pencil. I apologize, it does that. But again, we're just doing these concentric, you know, rectangles. We're not worrying about it. The rectangles are perfect. Now, I was going all the way around, but you can also do rectangles where you do the first set of parallel lines, and then you do the second set of parallel lines. Now, that will usually give you a better rectangle. At least that works better for me than trying to go all the way around in one sort of stroke. But whichever you want to do is fine. There is no wrong way to do this. You just need to do it. So we do the rectangles. Once we're done with these concentric rectangles, what would we do then? Well, we would start into triangles, right? So we then do concentric triangles. And so we're, you know, now we're, this isn't a penmanship class, and I guess you could do letters and numbers, but really, you know, a lot of us, all the years in school, have probably had quite a few penmanship classes, and we want to draw a little looser than that, but we want to get used to making these shapes. So I would stick to the basic two-dimensional shapes: circles, triangles, and rectangles. You could even do squares if you wanted to for some of those rectangles, but, you know, just do some triangles, point them different directions. You know, this is, again, just part of your warm-up. Triangles point in different directions and different things. And then what we would do is you're going to do some of your 3D shapes. So you could do, you know, your pyramid, you know, where you're trying to, in fact, a lot of times I'll draw through it so I can see, but, you know, you're just trying to, again, get the idea and the feel for drawing a pyramid, right? And that's kind of leaning that way. Maybe I wanted a pyramid that now sort of leans. Now I'm going to put a line down there to help me lean my pyramid, center line, for those that have watched the different, you know, the videos where we talk about center lines. But again, I could go ahead and make this, you know, this pyramid like so, going up here, and like that, and like that. And, you know, so we're just going to start to do some 3D stuff. Again, we could go ahead and, you know, we could create cones, right? So, you know, on here we go ahead and, all right, there's my triangle, and then from the triangle we have an ellipse, right? We could then say, okay, those are down. What about, we could also do our boxes. There's a little different way of doing a box, kind of the reverse. It's almost a cube. But we could do little boxes, you know, and to try to get used to doing boxes, these 3D shapes. For the spheres, we've already done circles. And I did say with spheres, usually people will represent a sphere by 2 overlapping ellipses, and then you draw the circle around there. And you could certainly do that if you wanted to. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're missing one, right? Well, we would then could also do some cylinders. I guess I kind of did this a weird way, but we could start with our rectangle, you know, a rectangle like, let's say this is my rectangle, and I could make, you know, put some little, you know, a couple little ellipses on there. And again, we're just warming up. There's no pressure on this. There's no wrong way to do it. We just got to do it. So again, we could start with a rectangle like so, and then again, just put the ellipse on. We're trying to be very loose. Yeah, I broke outside the rectangle a little bit. Is it a perfect ellipse? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But again, this is just a warm-up. No big deal. So this is how I want you to warm up for the class before you sit down and do drawing. You know, for this contours and all the different things and the constructions and drawing of still lifes, you've got to do these warm-ups. If you don't, you'll struggle with the drawing a whole lot more. This really helps everything to click. It really helps your drawing to move forward. It's one of the best ways to really, quote-unquote, level up, as people say. And the more you do it, the better you'll be, no matter what level you're at. So again, this has been Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes in Kevin McCain Studios. This is our warm-up using, you know, doing lines and circles and ellipses and rectangles and triangles, and then, you know, pyramids and spheres and cones and cylinders and boxes, all this stuff. And again, the better if we do that, again, it'll help all our drawings. So give it a shot. Have fun with it. Stay loose. Again, 10, 15 minutes tops. It really will help you. You all have a good day. Thank you again. Bye-bye now.